Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you, Jen, for inviting me to be here today. I want to start off by wishing everyone a happy National Park Week. I hope you found a chance to get out and experience your public lands this week. The White House is actually a national park, so technically we're all celebrating a bit right now. I had always wanted to be a national park ranger, and while I didn't quite land that job yet, I'm pretty excited that tomorrow night I get the chance to swear in some junior rangers. All of your kids are welcome to join during the U.S. Army Field Band's virtual concert tomorrow night. I think you can find the link on our website. I was happy also to celebrate this morning with the second gentleman. We announced 16 new listings to the Underground Railroad Network to Freedom Program. Our park system is our nation's storyteller, and I'm eager to ensure that these national treasures help tell a more inclusive and accurate story of our nation. This week has brought significant news on climate action and on issues impacting tribal communities. And so I'm honored and grateful to have the opportunity to speak with you and take your questions today. We have no shortage of work ahead. President Biden has set ambitious goals that will ensure America and the world can meet the urgent demands of the climate crisis, while empowering our nation's workers and businesses to lead a clean energy revolution. I believe that a clean energy future is within our grasp in the United States, but it will take all of us and the best available science to make it happen. The Interior Department is in a unique position to be a leader in putting our nation on a path to achieve net zero emissions, create good-paying jobs, and benefit underserved communities. We have taken steps in just the past few weeks to advance offshore wind proposals, restore balance to management of our public lands and waters, and create jobs, and revitalize land in coal communities. I'll also touch on Interior's work to honor our nation-to-nation relationship with Indian tribes and uphold our trust and treaty responsibilities. I believe, just as President Biden does, that we must engage tribal nations with an all-of-government approach, and one need look no further than the First Lady's visit to the Navajo Nation to speak and hear from tribal leaders and indigenous people. For too long, Indian issues were relegated to the tribal offices within federal agencies. If we're going to make sure that Native American and Alaska Native communities thrive, that tribal sovereignty is respected and strengthened, and if we are truly to repair our nation-to-nation relationships, then that means every federal agency needs to be thinking boldly about our obligations to Indigenous peoples. The significance of being the first Native American to serve in the cabinet is not lost on me. As I stand here today at this podium, I am moved by how monumental this week alone has been for Indigenous representation. On Monday, I delivered remarks on behalf of the U.S. government at the UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues, where I affirmed our commitment to advancing Indigenous peoples' rights at home and abroad. I talked about how we are putting the full weight of our federal government behind a cross-departmental missing and murdered unit to address the crisis in Indian country. Yesterday, I announced that Interior is moving forward to implement the Not Invisible Act, establishing a joint commission led by Interior and the Department of Justice on reducing violent crime against Indigenous peoples. And later today, Domestic Policy Advisor, Ambassador Susan Rice, and I will convene the first White House Council on Native American Affairs meeting of the Biden-Harris administration. We're wasting no time. We have an ambitious agenda, and so I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and get to work across the cabinet in identifying and supporting tribal equities in the administration's core policy pillars. Last, I come from a family that farms, ranches, and hunts. I've grown up in rural and agricultural communities, and I know what it's like to live in a community that's been left behind. These experiences underscore why I believe so deeply in the work that we do at the Interior Department and why I know that we can and will make a difference in the everyday lives of families across this country. And with that, I'm happy to